Welcome back to the Tool Crib. Today, my wife and I were checking out a Dollar General that just opened up in our neighborhood. And the reason we went in there is because we live a little far from town, so we're about 7 or 8 miles from the nearest grocery store. And so we wanted to stop in there to kind of see what they had in stock, what they stocked, whether or not we need like a gallon of milk or some laundry soap or any number of different items, maybe charcoal for the grill, something like that, that we could hop in there and we don't have to go all the way into town for. So it's kind of nice that they opened up in our neighborhood. And while I was in there, this magazine was on the shelf and it caught my eye for a couple of different reasons. So this is from Centennial Outdoors, and the first thing that caught my eye was the Prepper Survival Guide, is how they titled this issue. Now, I would consider myself not necessarily a full-on prepper, but I do have some level of preparedness, and that's part of the reason why I carry a full-on multi-tool, the Leatherman Surge. So if you watch my channel, you know I carry a modified Leatherman Surge. It's also why I'm a big advocate for carrying a flashlight, a light source, and a fire source. And also why I believe in learning and knowing your way around a rope for knot tying, because they can get you out of any number of different situations. So I wouldn't consider myself a full-on prepper, though I have been considering being a little bit more prepared. Stuff like having a good medical kit on hand, close by, maybe storing some dry good foods that will last a long time, stuff of that nature. I'm not sure how far or how intensive that I personally will get with it, but I believe that everybody should have some level of preparedness. And those that have children or have families, I think it's incumbent upon them to make sure that they're prepared with their families in case of emergency. And one thing that comes to mind is last winter here in Texas, when we lost power for several days due to inclement weather, where the temperatures dropped to well below freezing for long periods of time, and it really affected our grid, mostly because our grid was not set up for those deep freeze situations. I think they're rectifying that now, but it's just one example of how you need to have some level of preparedness, whether that be a person had a generator with fuel on hand, or you're stocked up with firewood, or just any number of there's so many different situations for being prepared. And I think it's incumbent upon a lot of people to be prepared. And honestly, I've been considering a different approach, or approaching my level of preparedness different. I might be getting into that later. The second thing that caught my eye with this was the fact that it had a Gerber center drive on the cover. So I wanted to check it out, and I got the chance to read through here, and there's some really good articles in this. I was kind of surprised. I was expecting it to be a little bit quirky, if you will, but there's actually some really good and really well-written articles about preparedness, whether that be in self-defense, whether that be in just some of the new products that are out on the market, basic skills like starting fires or knowing how to start a fire, getting into some of the gadgets and tools. Multi-tools in particular is something that caught my eye. So let's take a look at that portion of what's in this magazine and see kind of how they lean and whether or not they know what they're talking about. So I'm going to get this opened up here, and that article was here near the back, and they list 12 different multi-tools. So if I was going to set this here, and if you guys want to read through this article, you're more than welcome to. So they call this the Masters of Versatility. So multi-tools, Masters of Versatility, styles, shapes, and designs that turn work into productive enjoyment. So what I wanted to highlight was some of the multi-tools that they are showing in here. I got to tell you, I was real disappointed that one that should be in here is not in here. And it's not the Surge, which is my multi-tool of choice, but the Wave is the one that I think should be in here, should be in every list of good multi-tools, and it is missing from this one. They did include some of the newer Leathermans, but they left out the tried and true Wave. So one of the first ones is one of the Victorinoxes I haven't had a chance to try. This is the Climber. This one's in the Wood Swiss Spirit Special Edition 2021. The Climber looks to be a very useful pocket knife with the tools that come with it. It's actually a 3-layer that doesn't add, it's not extremely bulky, and it's something that I'm probably going to try out here pretty soon. The next one is a 511 solid state tool where it has a glass break. It has a strap cutter, and it also includes a little oxygen wrench. And I think if you take the key ring off, you can also use that kind of as a little pry tool as well. So I haven't had a chance to try that. I've tried some 511 stuff in the past, and I haven't been impressed with their stuff to the point where I would anything new that they put out I want to try out, but I might give that one a look. Now they do include the Leatherman Curl, which is a pretty decent budget multi-tool. They also include the Gerber center drive, which was on the front cover. The center drive is actually a pretty decent tool. I wouldn't say it's a great tool. I like some of the things that they did with the center drive. I like the direction that they were trying to go with Gerber. They just missed the mark a little bit, in my opinion. But that's not to say that it's not that it wouldn't be good for whoever would want to or is interested in OTF pliers, because it's a pretty good model. And the fact that the screwdriver center drive screwdriver is on the outside, I think it makes it a viable option for a lot of people that only need, or their main tools that they're looking for are pliers and a driver. So the Guppy is a tool that I have never tried, and I've always been interested in trying the Guppy. I may at some point check that out. And then we have the tried and true Swiss Champ. Now the Swiss Champ is a little bulky, but the Swiss Champ is also a very, very good multi-tool because of the amount of tasks that it can accomplish. To me, it's a little bit cumbersome to carry, and that's partially why I wouldn't carry it. And more so, though, than that is because I lean towards plier-based multi-tools, and not because there's anything wrong with the Swiss Champ. It's a very good tool. It's just I lean more towards the smaller Victorinox knives and plier-based multi-tools. So on the second page, we have a couple that we have tried out, some that are kind of new that I haven't had a chance to look at yet. So the first one is the Power Leader. Now, I actually have the Power Leader. I just haven't reviewed it yet. It's not a terrible multi-tool, but SOG, they leave a little bit to be desired. The next one is going to be one of the new tools that has just recently come out. I haven't got a chance to purchase one of these yet. This is the Gerber Gear Lockdown Pry. I'll be interested to see. I'll reserve judgment for that one. I know that Max Level EDC has done some videos on his that he got in. Honestly, I haven't had a chance to go in depth. I've been so busy that I've been working so much and just been too tired. But I got to catch up on his videos, and then hopefully I'll get my own so that we can get an idea of what we like and don't like about that particular tool. The next one is one I don't really think should be in here, honestly. I think it's kind of a low-level tool. The Gerber Gear, the Gerber Truss is really a budget multi-tool, but unlike like the Bond and the Curl from Leatherman, I think it's in my opinion, it's less desirable for the money. That doesn't necessarily mean that it will for you. I mean, everybody's opinions vary quite greatly, as a matter of fact, but I don't think that this particular tool is one that I would advocate for very much. Another tool that I haven't had a chance to try, but I've seen it and I want to, and this is the CRKT Septimo. Now, I think one of the Septimo versions, maybe one of the originals, had a different knife blade. This one has a Tonto blade on it, but I think one of them, this has pliers, but I think one of them had an adjustable wrench instead. So these are adjustable wrench pliers, if you will. They're jawed instead of flat. I think it might have been better as a flat myself, but then again, it's something I'll have to check out. Now, one tool that I do like that's in here is a Victorinox Swiss Card Classic. This is a very handy little multi-tool to carry with you. It's very easy to carry in a wallet, and it provides some really good functionality considering its size. It's just the overall package of this thing. I really like the Swiss Card tools from Victorinox. And the last one is the Leatherman Bond. Now, the Leatherman Bond is one of the budget tools from Leatherman now. And initially they had an issue with the knife blade that we've highlighted pretty intensively, actually. But they've seemed to have corrected that. I don't really like the way that they fixed it, but it is what it is. So they have fixed it somewhat so that blade doesn't pop out. Now, these are not bad selections. And I think more so these are leaning more towards budget multi-tools than anything else. There's very few of them. We got have one. The Gerber center drive is the only one that lists over $100. Everything else is in that $40 to $60 range. So I think maybe they were really looking at budget multi-tools, and maybe that's one of the reasons why they left out some of the ones that I feel should definitely be in here, like the Victorinox Swiss tools. Whichever one, any one of them would have gone well in here. Now, they're a little bit higher end. I also believe that the Leatherman Wave should definitely have been in here. I mean, how can you leave out the best-selling multi-tool in all the world? It's just, there's a reason why all multi-tools are compared to the Leatherman Wave, and I feel like they did a real disservice by not including at least the Leatherman Wave. I would have liked to seen some of the Victorinox multi-tools or plier-based multi-tools in here as well, not just their knife-based multi-tools, because I think that they're some of the best as well. So on the whole, keeping in mind that they went with a more budget-friendly options for their viewers here, I think they did a decent job. Again, a couple of them that I probably would have left out. I probably would not have included the truss. I don't have any judgment yet on the newer tools from Gerber, like the Lockdown Pry. I don't have any experience with the CRKT yet, nor the Guppy. The others, also I don't have any experience with this 511. The others are pretty good multi-tools, especially the Mon and the Curl. They're decent options. The Swiss Champ is a very good tool. I really like the Climber that they put in here. I think that would be an excellent tool. It's not quite as capable as something but like the Swiss Champ, but it's something that you'll be more apt to carry, and I think that's a good reason to have it in here. And they could have included like the Tinker Deluxe, any number of different Victorinox knives. There's just so many. But as far as the plier-based multi-tools, I'm really disappointed that the Leatherman Wave Plus was not in here. So on the whole, I mean, it's a decent guide when it came to the multi-tools. There are some really good articles in here about other preparedness stuff, though, especially when it talks about food supply, emergency situations, just any number of different things, and something that I might get a little bit more involved in the months to come. But it kind of depends on what you guys want. If you guys want me to lean a little bit more towards or start integrating some preparedness stuff into the channel, I would be happy to do so, and I would appreciate your guys' suggestions. So my name is Ben. You've been watching the Texas Tool Crib. I appreciate you watching. I'll see you in the next one.